Ronit, it's great seeing you again here at Nordic Fintech Week.
Great to be back.
Just for those who still have not heard about you, very few, tell us briefly who you are and what you do.
Sure. So this is my 5th year speaking at Nordic Fintech Week, so it's awesome to be back in Copenhagen. I've been visiting Copenhagen on behalf of Citi for almost 25 years now. I run a think tank for Citi called Future of Finance. I'm based in Dubai. I have colleagues in London, around the world, and we provide content and advice on where the world of money and finance is going to.
Amazing, amazing. Now, you were earlier on a panel on stage, a very relevant discussion around stablecoins,
Yes.
CBDCs, and tokenization.
Yes.
Can you share, so what was the key takeaway for you from that discussion with the other panelists?
So the key takeaway is that these on-chain formats of money, which are not, some of them are money-like, some of them are more like financial assets. These blockchain and similar based on-chain formats of money, we believe are all going to grow. So at this conference, we're launching our next report, which is our GPS report on stablecoins. We're calling it Stablecoin 2030. And we're saying we're very bullish about the growth of stablecoins for certain industries. The crypto native industry, the digitally sophisticated and digitally frontier companies, and also for people internationally who are outside the US and Europe who want to hold a hard currency coin.
Yeah.
Now, for other clients and other users, including our clients at Citi, they may want some of that stablecoin goodness of 24/7 real-time cross-border, but they may not want to have something issued by a non-bank issuer. Mm-hmm. And banks, including us, we have a sort of like a stablecoin. It's called a tokenized deposit. Mm-hmm. So in our report, we're saying that's also going to grow really fast. And we think in terms of turnover and volume, it could even be bigger than stablecoins by 2030. Mm-hmm. That's point number 2. And point number 3 is we think stablecoins, bank tokens or tokenized deposits, CBDCs in some countries, they will all coexist. It's about frenemies. It's not zero sum.
Yep.
And the whole point about, this is a fintech conference, is fintech and new emerging technologies is about growth. The pie grows. Mm-hmm. And I think stablecoins and similar the pie is going to grow.
Right. I love that analogy because that's exactly what we're doing here. We're not fighting for the same amount of pie, we're just making the pie bigger.
Yeah.
Now, earlier today at the opening keynote, we heard that there's a lot of talk about agentic AI, of course, and that there's a lot of the conference is focused on agentic AI. I'm sure Citi's Future of Finance has a view on agentic AI.
Well, as it happens, in January of this year, we wrote a report about agentic AI, which we collaborated with our colleagues in Citi Ventures in Palo Alto, and a lot of their portfolio companies. A bit of corporate PR now. Citi is one of the, I believe in corporate VC land, we're the biggest investor in AI last year, including in agentic AI. Agentic AI became last year and this year one of the biggest subsectors of AI in investing. What does agentic AI do? AI is a piece of software, a machine that imitates humans. Agentic AI, generative AI is software, AI that creates text, words, etc. Agentic AI does things. It's action. So anything that's a workflow, anything that's an action. So in our private lives, maybe we have a smart fridge in the future and the fridge orders, milk or groceries for us. That agent that does it, either autonomously, classically it's autonomous, but maybe in real life it's semi-autonomous, that embedded in Internet of Things, that could be an interesting use case, and there might be a stablecoin or a deposit token wallet attached to that. Now, in the middle office and the back office of banks and financial services and other non-financial companies, there are a lot of workflows that agentic AI could either streamline or replace or augment. And so there's a lot of change that'll happen in terms of how the shape of a company looks and the shape of a bank looks. Because agentic AI could be an AI in general, similar to what cloud did. Cloud basically took CapEx and made it into OpEx. You don't need to have everything on-premise, or you can have an on-premise cloud, but you don't have to have all bespoke on-premise technology. You can basically rent it out from a big tech company. And that allowed particularly small companies to scale up faster, or big companies to operate in multiple parts of the world. And we think AI and agentic AI will have a similar impact, particularly in startups.
Interesting.
Because the startups, you're going to be able to say a lot of these workflows that we had people doing before, we'll have software doing. And particularly startups operating in less regulated industries will lead the way.
Yep.
And companies in less regulated industries will lead the way. It could be big companies as well. In hyper-regulated or high-regulated industries, it'll take a little bit of time because obviously everything has to be very carefully tested and risk-proofed and so on.
Yeah. Okay, now, so I really like that what you were talking about. This technology is converting capex into opex, and that's definitely a fundamental change in the way that organizations do their financing. Now, you, as you mentioned earlier, you're a veteran here at Nordic Fintech Week.
Yeah.
You've been able to see the change in the tone and in the pace of things and in the focus of the conversation over the past few years. What do you notice stand out from this year here at Nordic Fintech Week?
I mean, you said it in your questions, right? AI is obviously, like last year, a big theme. I'd say there are a few big themes. AI is definitely a big one. In the Nordic region, including particularly in Sweden, there are a lot of AI startups. The Nordic region digitized early and digitized fast. And so maybe it's potentially easier to do AI on this very strong digital foundation. But actually, I just came out of a stablecoin roundtable and I was on a stablecoin or digital asset panel earlier today. And at least my experience today has been very heavily focused on stablecoins and digital. Now, maybe it's because we're publishing this report and we're talking about it on, actually even tomorrow in a keynote, I'll be talking about stablecoins. But stablecoins, bank tokens, blockchain-based money, very topical here. We've obviously had Mika last year in Europe, and now with all the US changes, it's become more mainstream. And I think that's another big change.
Yeah, well, it sounds like tomorrow's keynote is unmissable, so we'll make sure to be there.
Come along tomorrow.
We will, and Ronit, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Not at all. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.